Welcome back. Yes, of course, it was The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Now, David, you did a little bit of sidestepping with that tongue twisting a little bit earlier tonight, and I think now you're going to define yourself.
You're quite right. I'm going to look at the word or the phrase smart aleck, A-L-E-C. And I had always presumed that aleck had never existed. But what was fascinating is doing a bit of homework about the aleck in question, I discovered there was such a gentleman. And he was quite a crafty person, and if not a smart person, and his name was Alex, with an X, Hoag, H-O-A-G, and he was a scam artist who operated in New York in the 1840s. And what his racket was that he ran an establishment of seedy reputation, if I could put it that way, and as clients would come in, there was a room, an ante-room, that actually had a swivel panel, or a rotating panel. And he would appear either bodily or with the arm to pinch belongings from the clothing and jackets that people would leave behind. And he was also very crafty because he had several bent cops of New York's finest, or less than fine, who helped protect his racket. He eventually became undone by his own greed, as most smart Alex do, because that is now what the phrase means. It is not people who are necessarily very intelligent, but people who are often crafty or all talk and no substance. Not to be confused with the two contestants tonight of the highest calibre who are authentically smart.
Absolutely. Well, probably brilliant, Alex.
That's true.
Thank you, David. Great background. Let's have a look at our scores. Tamara's on 10. Matthew is on 24 in this semi-final tonight as we head for some more letters. And Matthew, what do you fancy this time?
I think I'll start with a vowel, please.
Thanks, Matthew. E.
And another, please.
A.
And a third vowel, please.
E.
A consonant, please.
P.
And another one, please.
F.
And another consonant, please.
N.
Another consonant, please.
Y.
And another consonant, please.
And T.
And a vowel, please.
Lastly, I.
Thanks, Lily. Here's the clock. How many for you that time, Matthew?
I didn't like those letters, Richard. I had a 5.
A 5 for you, Tamara?
I had a 5 too.
Oh, well, maybe Tamara wasn't that keen as well. Let's start with yours, Tamara.
I had paint.
And yours?
Teeny.
Matthew? Teeny.
Teeny.
Could you spell it for us?
T-E-E-N-Y.
Teeny, teensy and teeny, both there. Alteration of tiny. Well done. Paint is obviously good. In fact, it really was a less than friendly mix. I agree with Matthew wholeheartedly. The best I could find was a 6, and it's a fairly obscure word, and that's pineta. P-I-N-E-T-A, which is the plural of pinetum, which essentially is an arboretum, or a cluster of trees, of pine trees and conifers.
Well, a pretty uncooperative mix. However, Tamara and Matthew both salvaged 5 points. Let's see if we can find a letter mix with much more potential this time around. And Tamara, do you think you can deliver it?
I hope so. Can I have a nice consonant, please, Lily?
I'll try my best. G.
And a vowel, please.
O.
And a consonant, please.
T.
And a vowel, please.
I.
And a consonant, please.
H.
And another consonant.
R.
And another consonant, please.
T.
And a vowel, please.
E.
And a final consonant, please.
And lastly, C.
I'll start the clock. the big question, was it a kind of mix? How many?
Not too bad. I got 7.
7 sounds good. Matthew?
And a 7 for me, Richard.
7 for you too. Excellent. Well, let's start with you, Matthew.
Tighter.
And yours, Tamara?
That's the same. Tighter.
Tighter, if you could verify.
Sure.
Good words, David.
Well, tighter is describing this game. Neither contestant is giving any ground. Tighter is good for 7. And chitter, C-H-I-T-T-E-R, is another one, which is an imitative word to describe birdsong.
Nice work. Great score for Tamara and Matthew, 7 each. Well, our first numbers game was, if anything, just a little too easy. So we'll see if we can toughen it up this time. And Matthew, that's your responsibility.
No, let's make it nice and easy, please, Lily. 4 small and 2 large, please.
Thanks, Matthew. That's 2 large, 4 small. Maybe halfway between, not too easy, not too hard. Our numbers, 10, 8, 7, 2, for 2 large, 125. The target to reach is 951.
Well, let's see if we can get there. Matthew, where did it sit in that scale of easiness for you?
Well, it's set at 951 for you.
That's just where we hoped it would, Tamara.
I had the same.
951 as
Yes.
well. Matthew, take us through your method first, please.
Sure. Lily, 100 times 10 is 1,000.
100 times 10 is 1,000.
Now, if we multiply 25 by 2,
25 by the 2
that will
is
give you
50.
50. You subtract that from 1,000 for 950.
950.
8 minus 7 is 1.
8 minus
And
7
you add
is
that to get 951.
951.
Very nice method. And right to that target. Tamara, did you do it the same?
Exactly the same.
Exactly. Again, would you confer and make sure you both used the same approach? And it was a great approach, wasn't it, Lily?
It was a great approach, and you know what? You guys might as well just come up here and do your own solutions. Clearly, I'm not needed here.
You're needed there, don't you worry. So, great result for Tamara and Matthew, 10 points each. That means Tamara now 32, Matthew 46. As we head to our next break, another word mix, of course, test case. And the clue, a really old way of recording things. See you very shortly.